Do I regret buying my used 2013 Tesla Model S? Not a single bit. And I'll explain to you guys more later in this video, but first I think some introductions are in order for today's guest on the video. He is my son. His name is Icarus, and he's my little feather baby. He's going to be joining us for today's video, either hanging out on the steering wheel or on my shoulder, biting either my hands or my ears a little bit, I'm sure, but I'm pretty used to it. I got scars on both from him, but regardless, he's my son, and I love him one way or another. Not really good on his feet there, you can see, but it's pretty smooth, so I don't blame him. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started with today's video, and I'll explain to you guys a bit more as to why I do not regret my purchase almost a year on now. So one of the first things that usually deters people from buying an electric vehicle, like a Tesla here, is that it's still very ambiguous. It's venturing into the unknown. You know, internal combustion engines have been around for 100+ years now. It's something that's very well known, something that a lot of people know and understand. But when purchasing an electric vehicle, it's different. It has the same bones, right? It gets you from point A to point B, but there's differences that kind of scare people a little bit, and especially with even a used one. And with electric vehicles being as costly as they are brand new, most people like myself first look into buying it used. But there comes those added factors of like the battery health. How are you going to charge it? What's my range going to be like? There's certain things that you don't necessarily think about when buying another normal car. Definitely something that I went through when first purchasing this. But again, like I had mentioned, I don't regret it. And this is coming after a year of ownership with this. But it's some things that you just have to relearn and deal with, really. Now, I'm lucky enough to work in a place where I get free charging. So every time I'm at work, I charge it throughout the day while I'm there, and I leave with about 80 to 90%, depending on what I set the car to. So range isn't really a factor for me that I care about a lot. I'm using it for mostly commuting to and from work. When I do errands on the weekends, it's helping me save a lot of money in gas. Something else too that you have to think about when purchasing a used vehicle and an electric vehicle is the cost of ownership, right? With a typical internal combustion engine car, you got things to worry about, like changing out the oil, for example. That's something you got to do every X amount of miles. That's just typical with standard ownership of one of those cars. You don't have that with a Tesla or with any electric vehicle for that matter. Also, with brake pad replacements on a normal car, you're using the brakes a lot more than you would be in an electric vehicle. The brakes I have on this 2013 Tesla are original. I have 105,000 miles on this now. Excuse me. I have 105,000 miles on this now, and they have the original brake pads on them. And that's because of the regenerative braking that comes with owning a electric vehicle. So there is that cost saving there, but the major things like a battery or a drive unit replacement, those are kind of the things that scare people away. You know, you don't have to go and replace the engine, the whole engine on your internal combustion car. If you do, you're just buying a new car. But the motors on electric vehicles are a lot different. And they're subject to breaking down a lot more. There's still newer technology. It's not as hammered out as typical cars are. You know, internal combustion cars have been around for a very long time, and they're understood very well. But there's, again, that newness for electric vehicles that alone might deter some people from buying it. But even with that drive unit replacement that I had to pay for out of pocket, I still don't regret buying my Tesla. I love this car. I came from a 2007 BMW Z4. I daily drove that for about 5 years, and after owning this, I can't believe that I daily drove that thing for as long as I did, especially where I live, where it snows as well. There's other things too, other than just the navigation, that I really like having the conveniences of. For example, the music is really easy to navigate. I can integrate my Spotify with it, which is super easy and nice to use. I can control things on my phone, or I can make playlists on my phone in the house, and it'll immediately update into the car, which is, I really like that aspect of it. But I can also talk to the car. It has voice commands. I can tell it to play certain songs with the music. I can tell it to do certain things. For example, if this tablet were to ever break down, I can tell it... Oh, I'm sorry. Did the middle of my sentence interrupt the beginning of yours? So, for example, if this tablet were to ever break down, I can voice command a lot of things like turning the climate on, turning the defrosters on, the seat warmers, any control that's on here. Any control that's on here, I can command the car to do. Let's go ahead and try something real quick. I'm going to open up the frunk with the voice command. Open the frunk. And there you go, popped open. So the frunk isn't powered, whereas the hatch is. So I can open the hatch and close that by voice commands, as well as here on the tablet, which is also very nice. Something that kind of lured me towards the Model S specifically was that hatchback that's all automated too. It's very spacious, it's very nice. But again, a lot of conveniences on here that I would hate to part with when it comes to just standard vehicle ownership. I gotta go close this now. So I'm in the BMW now, just to kind of give you a little bit of a comparison. It's very small. I don't have very much room at all in these bucket seats here. It doesn't have, you know, anything nearly as fancy as the Tesla does with the onboard tablet with navigation or anything. The dash is very, you know, old school. It's analog, nothing digital, other than the little screen down there at the bottom left. But the speedometer, the odometer, all of that it's all analog with the fuel. I love my BMW, which is why I still have it as well. But you know, it's breaking apart. The convertible top needs a new little plastic piece for the cover. You know, the tape here is not going to last forever. These cup holders are terrible. This one's broken for sure. It can be hard getting that back in. Similar one over there. The auto dimming on the mirrors has been messed up for a while now. This one's not nearly as bad as the right one. I got new ones in the mail actually. Hopefully that'll be here later today. But yeah, so this is a lot different. No integrated Bluetooth. I have to have a little Bluetooth dongle here. And there's no integrated garage system. I have to have my button here. Just a lot of conveniences that are taken away from me when I sit back down in this thing. It is still a pretty sexy car though from the outside. I do like this BMW, although there's a little paint wearing off on the sides. But yeah, I don't regret buying this at all. And it was a really big jump for me. I did it kind of on a whim. I bought it from a third-party dealer, not Tesla certified at all. It was definitely a risk, and I found that out the hard way by purchasing that new drive unit right out the gate. But even with that, I don't regret buying this at all. It's a fantastic car, and there are things wrong with it, like I've mentioned in my other videos, with the door handles specifically. That's a big one. But I would never get rid of this. I plan on driving it until it doesn't drive anymore. It's going to be difficult to go back to any sort of internal combustion car, daily driving, I should say, just because of the modern conveniences of this. I've gotten so used to the regenerative braking, I've gotten so used to just charging it and not going to a gas station. I don't think that any future vehicle that I buy that is going to be a daily driver of mine will ever be an internal combustion engine ever again. And that's just, again, a year of owning this thing. But also, a big reason is that it's pretty fun to drive. That never gets old. It's just immediate torque. It's by no means the fastest Tesla or car, but its throttle response is second to none, and I love driving this thing. It's just so fast. But the passing ability on it too is amazing. Freeway, city streets, doesn't really matter. It's a fast car. I plan on doing a 0 to 60 test here pretty soon, but it's a very fun car. It's heavy. It's like 4,700 pounds with that battery, but you would have no idea based on how quick this thing is to get up and go. I love this thing. The BMW is fast, but this is faster. It's very fast, but it's also very quiet and smooth. That is something I love about this car and any electric vehicle, is how quiet it is. You can really focus on either driving or having a conversation with your passengers or just enjoying whatever nature you might be in, right? Without that loud noise from the engine kind of obstructing that. Having the quietness is, in my opinion, a huge plus. Yeah, so moral of the story is that I do not regret buying this thing one single bit. I love this car, it's my daily driver, and I don't think I can go back to any sort of standard vehicle ever again after having driven this for almost a year now. Plan on doing a follow-up video with the BMW back there to see kind of what the comparison is with speed, so I'll have to get somebody else to help me out with that. But I'm curious because that BMW weighs almost nothing, whereas that Tesla weighs 4,700 pounds. Very heavy car, but still very quick. I'm curious to see which one would win in a straight line over there. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments or anything that I could potentially help out with, if I'm easing your conscience into buying a new or used battery electric vehicle, please feel free to shoot that down in the comments and I'll do what I can to answer that for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and there'll be more videos heading your way. I have a lot of content that I want to do and film with this Tesla. A lot of things that I think I can help some people out with. So don't miss out, and I'll see you guys next time.